Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel and welcome to today's card of the day is going to be Yurlok of the Scorch Thrash. One black, a red and green for a 4/4 legendary creature Vicenio Shaman who has vigilance. And a player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. And then one tap, each player adds red, black and green to their mana pool. Why am I covering this card today? Well, one of my followers on my stream down below, come and give me a follow on Twitch. SlaysforDays is known as he goes by on Twitch. Swaggington, if you see him on MTGO, asked me to think about this card and how I was going to do it the other night. So it was one of the original Commander Legends cards. I'd never really thought about it, and I decided it was time I had a look at it. So for Slays and everyone else who's interested, this is the deck I built for this card today. Couple of things to point out. Start as usual with the mana base. Black, red and green lands all the way through. Caves, marshes, cliffs, command towers. Because we are playing a 3-colour deck, Field of the Dead probably feels at home here, along with Exotic Orchard and Fabled Passage. I am playing 3 of each basic, just to make sure we can always get some of the lands out. Had a bit of experience tonight before I've recorded this video of where we got Blood Moon in a game, and I'm really upset. Well, I still won the game, but needed to make sure I had basic lands in place, so I was good. We have added in Urborg, I have added in Yavimar, Cradle of Growth to help out, because we do have tend to be more black and green in the deck than there is red. Proving Grounds, Savage Lands, you know the score on these. Proving Grounds, rare because it has Cycling 3. Savage Lands, exactly the same card, just doesn't have Cycling. Have them in your deck if you're playing the colours. Mana ramp, in the artifact form, we have Mox Tantalite Soul Talisman, like I have in a lot of my commander decks. Soul Rings also here. And then we've got one of each of the talismans of the correct colours. And Arcane Signet to back it all up. And that's it. What I've tried to do with this deck, however, is use the ability to get the mana burn. It brings, if you're an old school player like I am, I'm coming up to playing this for quite a few years now. Mana burn used to be a thing back in the day when I started playing. I started with Revise, so yeah. Mana burn was definitely a thing back then, and this is what this card tries to do. It tries to bring back that mana burn thing, because some people just go, I'll just tap this, I'll lose this bit of mana, I don't take any damage from it. In Commander though, you have to be careful with it, because in here I've seen people burn through 3, 4, even 5 mana they haven't been able to use because of some effect they've got, and yeah, they don't take any damage from it. With this Commander they do. So we've got a few things we're doing to try and add mana to everyone's mana pool and then use our mana effectively through the game. So first things first, Bloodchief Ascension. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent lost 2 or more life this turn, you put a quest counter on here, and then whenever a card is put in a graveyard from anywhere, if we have 3 or more quest counters on it, that player loses 2, we gain 2. Great card. This will be happening a lot. Hopefully you'll get the counters on here quite quickly. Fandal Blast, just to control the amount of artifacts that are in play that your opponents control. Birds of Paradise, just to give us a bit of ramp. Collective Voyage is a nice one. You can play this. You can then tap, if you've got Yurlok in play, tap this and say, right then, you've got 2 choices here. You're either going to take 3 damage because you're going to lose the mana, or you can pump all your extra mana to here and get yourself a load of lands, and then everybody gets a load of lands. And believe me, I've practiced this deck once, and people do tend to pay the mana into Collective Voyage if you can get it off, so bear it in mind. Eldamri's Vineyard's an old card, school card from Tempest. 1 green, and each player then gets 2 green at the beginning of their main phase. Well, their pre-combat main phase, I should say. And yeah, not many people have a way of using it every turn, so they start taking burn from it. Even, Yurlok coming out, it also means if you do this on turn 1, you can get Yurlok out on turn 2, in theory. Turn 1, if you play a dual land, sorry, let me explain it. If you play a dual land, it comes into play untapped. Okay, let's pick Overgrown Tomb, yeah? Overgrown Tomb, paid 2 mana, play this, chuck out the Vineyard, you paid 1 green for it. Next turn, go to your pre-combat main phase, you've got a black from the Overgrown Tomb, 2 green from here. Hopefully you've got some form of untapped red, Luxury Suite, Mountain, whatever. and then you can play Yurlok, and people will start taking burn there and then. It works really well. Anyway, enough of that. Helix Pinnacle is here as a way of you dumping your unspent mana into something. You get a lot of unspent mana in this deck. As soon as you've got this in play, it's your backup win condition, and you can just dump all your extra mana into here and have done with it. You don't take any burn, and you soon actually don't. You're not. No, sorry, it doesn't take that long to get the 100 counters you may need. So bear it in mind. Ignoble Hierarch just helps you ramp there and puts a little bit of Exalted if we need it. Magus of the Vineyard does exactly the same thing as Eldari's Vineyard, except it's a 1/1 creature. Bear it in mind. Sol Ring I've mentioned. Red deck, Dockside here, treasure tokens, very helpful, thank you. Farseek, Nature's Law, 3 visits, do the whole let's go get some lands out that help us get things going. Seeker of Skybreak lets us untap a target creature. Yep. We can do this twice a turn, don't forget, add 1, well, pay 1, tap it, untap it, use one of the 3 you've just added to pay it, so there's 5 mana floating, you'll soon do damage to your opponents quickly. Belb, Corrupt Observer, also comes in from the Commander Legends set. Yeah, there you go. At the beginning of each player's post-combat main phase, that player adds 2 colours for each of your opponents who lost life this turn. Okay then. Again, it's more mana they have to try and use up, which they may not be able to, therefore burning. Goblin Archaeomancer takes down the casting cost of our red and green spells. Arang Signal I've mentioned. Lightning Greaves and Boots are here purely to protect Yurlok and to make sure we can do it at hasty speed if we need to. Citadel of Pain, another old school card from Prophecy. At the beginning of each player's end step, that Citadel deals X damage to that player with X's number of untapped lands they control. So they're damned if they don't, damned if they do with Yurlok in play. So that's pretty cool. Jeskai Will, cards, mana, both if you're lucky. Mana Flare makes it very difficult for your opponents to spend all their mana because everyone's doubling up on it. Beast Within lets you take out something that's annoying you. Cultivate goes and fetches some of your basics. Heartbeat of Spring is a green version of Mana Flare, basically. Exactly the same card. Makes it difficult for your opponents to pay all your mana. Helix Pinnacle is your friend here, believe me. Kodoma's Reach, more basics in play. Omnath, you don't lose the unspent green mana. But be careful. If you've got too much mana kicking around, you do start losing life yourself. But it does give you a big beater. Bear it in mind. Reclamation Sage, just a little bit of removal for artifacts and chumps and annoying you. Suzuku, Caller of Autumn, another one that adds mana. Again, more difficulty in green for your opponents to use and get rid of. Yavimar Elder gives you another way of sacrificing something to use up some of your mana, so you get a card draw, maybe a couple of basics. Clothos, probably never going to be a god, never going to be attacking, but you can either exile a card and add mana, or you can exile a card, gain 2 and deal 2. That's pretty good. Deal 2 to each opponent. Yep, that'll upset them. Overabundance, whenever a player taps the land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type, and it deals 1 damage to that player. Fun way, bit of a mana barbs type idea. I mean, you could take this out and put mana barbs in if you want to. I haven't included mana barbs in the deck, but that's a possibility. Mithril Coax, just here to make Yurlok indestructible. An Umbra Mantle, yeah, equip it for 0. You can pay 1, tap Yurlok, get people adding mana, 3 to untap it, and then if you've got a few extra bits of mana around, I have done this in a test game when it was just me testing the deck out. I have managed to do this 6 times and have 18 mana floating that my opponents then have to deal with. Yeah, they died very quickly after that, but it's good fun if you get it off. This does become target practice for every bit of an artifact removal your opponents are playing, though. I will promise you that. Nightshade Harvester goes up to the 4 drops. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, they lose 1, you get a +1/+1 on here, so it soon goes up. Court of Ambition just gives your opponent a bit of a nightmare. They either discard or lose 3, or if we're the Monarch, they lose 6 life unless they discard 2. Yep, fine. Damnation takes out all the creatures, so you have a little bit of board control. Court of Embereth gives you a nice attacker every turn, and then if you are the Monarch, it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of creatures you control, so even if it's 1, it's 1. Leyline Tyrant you don't lose unspent red mana as steps and phases end. When it dies, you may pay any amount of red, and when you do, it deals that much damage to any target. Fine, go for it. Solfim Mayhem Dominus, one of the Phyrexia will be one cards here. It does an extra bit of damage for you because it's non-combat damage. Don't forget that you're losing here, so it helps out a bit. Tempt with Discovery, another card that lets you go and get lands into play, and hopefully other people will join you in doing so, so you get even more. Fine. Wilderness Reclamation untaps all your lands if you need them untapped. Court of Bounty, land or creature card into play. I like playing the courts. This one's nice, just a little bit of ramp. And Spiteful Visions. At the beginning of each player's up draw step, they draw an extra card, and whenever a player draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player, including yourself, so bear it in mind. Mogus controls the board unless they deals 2 damage, unless they sacrifice a creature. Dictator of Ouroboros, you'll be sucking your creatures off to your Mogus, and everyone else is losing creatures as well. Court of Ear, shocks something or does 7 damage. Dictator Karamatra doubles the mana up. Again, makes it difficult for your opponents to empty their mana pool, so they start taking damage from here. Elder Gargaroth gives you a bit of life and a bit of card draw when it attacks or blocks. Seedborn Muse untaps everything during each opponent's turn, which does have its upside. We're not really taking advantage of it in this deck, apart from maybe not at all, actually. We're not taking advantage of it at all. Probably need to fix that. Think of a land you can take advantage of it with, but gives you all your blockers you ever need, so hey ho. Zenios is here as well. Gives one of your creatures, one of the few creatures, we're only playing 22, +X and haste, get that combat damage in. And Blink Moth Exus, Blink Moth Urn, sorry. Beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, if it's untapped, that player adds colourless for each artifact they control. Whole load of mana, which they'll probably lose and die from. The win conditions are here. Again, there's one extra one I could put in here that I haven't put in here. You've got a choice. I'm going to put it in for now. But Fantas, the Wall Weavers here, attacks each creature. This is probably the one I'm going to take out. I don't think it really fits in this deck, so we're going to drop it while I'm thinking about it and play the one I just added in. Karavek the Merciless is fine. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Karavek the Merciless deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. Fine. Shoot them. City on Fire, if a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or a player, it deals triple that damage instead. This is still damage, kind of. I think. I'm not sure. I may be wrong, but whatever. There's enough ways of dealing damage. Torment of Hailfire, another way to sink your mana, along with Lavalanche. This definitely does damage, though, works really well with City on Fire. To target player or planeswalker, and each creature that player or planeswalker and that planeswalker controller controls. Yeah. This is one way of just taking out an opponent. And Exsanguinate, probably one of the most feared mono black cards ever produced in Commander. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. If you have a lot of mana floating, you need to get rid of it. This is a perfect way in doing so. It gives your opponents fits. But that's it. That is my take on Yurlok. I think it's a fun command. It's difficult to build. I'm not sure I've got it 100% right yet. I think some of the card choices I've made may be a little bit dodgy, but hopefully they work out in the long run. When I get a chance, I'll be playing this live on stream. As I said, you can come and follow me on stream down below. Description, go and hit the follow button. Come and follow me over there. 208 followers on Twitch at the moment, which is lovely, so I'm happy with that. But if you can hit the subscribe button that's gone down the bottom here now, under me, that'd be even better. 306 as I record this today, so I'm really happy with that. My aim for the end of 2024, which you'll find out in a week or so's time when I do my whole aim video for the new year, is 500 followers by the end of the year, which would be fantastic and would make it all worthwhile. I've gained 300 in the year and a half I've been doing this, and it's ticked up a lot recently, so hopefully we'll get there. But anyway, Slays, if you're still watching it this far, I hope you found it useful. I suspect you'll be beating me up on stream with your version of Yurlok at some stage very soon, but I hope this has given you a few ideas. For everyone else, thanks very much for watching, and hopefully you'll come and see me play on stream soon. Take care. See you soon. Bye.